All right.
Graham.
Hey, Facebook family, thank you so much. And Instagram, YouTube, and all of our great platforms that we have on today. We have the best of the best with us, Miss Cheron Griffiin, Preachers, the
Hello.
creator of Preachers Exes. I had to get this on today. I tell you, this is one of my friends.
Oh, yes, I am.
But when I heard her talk about this a few times, I said, Preachers Exes, everybody wants to know and talk about the exes of preachers. So, lady, thank you so much for joining us on today. I would be so remiss without thanking you, and your entire team have been great in pulling this together for us. So let's get started. Let's talk about how you thought about this platform of Preachers Exes.
So, first of all, I have to say thank you very much for allowing me to grace you on your stage, right? But regarding Preacher's Exes, I wrote the book first, and literally, I forgot to bring the book in here. But anyway, I wrote the book first, which
Hmm.
was my healing journey. It's 3 p.m. The Preacher, the Power, the Penis, and Me.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So I came up with the show title
Uh huh.
or the format. My ex-husband had literally cut me off from alimony. And I
Hmm.
just sat on my couch in Atlanta and I said, okay, God, what are we going to do?
Right.
And I heard write a reality show. And I didn't know anything about it, but here we are, 13 years later, perfected.
Mm.
So
Mm.
it's a blessing.
It is a blessing. As we're talking about Preachers Exes, we really don't know the platform and the, let's just say, we don't know the background of what the first ladies have to go through, right? We
Yes.
don't have any idea. We just think they're beautiful, they get up, and we think you guys have the greatest life ever. Husband and wives, you're speaking of the Bible, you're speaking of the platform, you know what Jesus Christ is. And let's do, before we do that, we're gonna let's shout out some of the cast members that are on there with you. Let's shout them out.
Yes. So I have to shout out Maria.
Yes.
She's my Puerto Rican princess, as she calls herself.
Uh-huh.
I have to shout out Jennifer,
Mm.
Jarrell. I love
Yes.
Jarrell because he was married to an evangelist and a prophetess.
Mm.
So that's a different spin. I would like to also shout out Katrina Barlow.
Hmm.
Super, super, super amazing business owner, entrepreneur, and she's just doing the damn thing. So, and everyone's super amazing in their own right.
Yes.
I have to give a shout out to the director and the story producer, Tiffany Tifko Joseph.
Yes.
Amazing. She took on this challenge without knowing anything.
Yes.
Right. So
Hmm.
she was like, I'm down for it. I said, all right, you down, I'm down. You
Uh-huh.
know,
Yeah.
and of course the production team, and you already know.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So shout out to him as well. And Brandon.
Yes. Shout out to
And
Brandon. I'm in his studio here
yes,
now.
yes, yes. And it was super amazing just working with everyone.
Yeah.
The whole goal for me is to make superstars.
Yeah.
I believe that everyone deserves a chance to tell their story,
Hmm.
but also be that shining light
Yeah.
in a world that's in chaos, especially right now.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I'm excited about that. We have our cast and Legos already ready, our production team our cast in Johannesburg, our production team. So we're locked and loaded and ready to tell this story globally.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. When we're talking about the preacher's exes, it's riveting
Yes.
just to know that what is going on behind the scenes.
Yes, absolutely.
Because, of course, like I stated, we see a different platform or we see a different persona in the public eye, right?
Yes, sir.
Many of the ladies as well as the husbands are on a platform 10,000 members, 15,000 members, 20,000 members, and to know that you have to be what is they always say own, right? You're never
Yes.
off. You have to be own
Yes.
everywhere you go. You can't go to the store without somebody saying something hello to you or hugging you or wanting to know this or wanting to pull back even if you don't feel like it.
Yes, absolutely. Um, I found for me, like you say, you're not really able to be yourself, but I have to say, I was always myself for the most part.
All right, right,
you know, um, it to me it's behind the scenes when no one's looking,
right.
dealing with that. Like I don't mind the hellos. I'm a very friendly person,
Uh-huh.
right?
Right,
um but behind the scenes, what goes on in the home
right,
that you're experiencing, and also your children
right,
are experiencing and seeing,
right.
because they become a witness.
Yeah.
And I know for me, my children ask, especially my oldest, who's now 36, she said, Mom, when you got out of the marriage, I was so happy. She said, but I always wondered why you didn't leave. You were educated, you were making your own money, but you didn't leave.
Mhm.
And I have to revert that back to me. Obviously,
Mhm.
I was suffering from low self esteem, low self worth, and
Mhm.
I didn't understand who I was at that moment.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
since leaving the marriage of 16 years,
Mhm.
um, and healing,
Mhm.
right? Because you have to heal.
Right.
Um, I got to fall in love with self.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And unfortunately, Cam, the church doesn't teach us about falling in love with self.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
It's about your neighbor and loving other people, but no one ever said, love me.
Mhm.
And that's what I would like to tell any woman or man. Self love is the best love.
Right, right. And I'm glad we're talking about this. I'm glad we're just talking about, first of all, marriage, right? Just
Yes,
before the
absolutely.
X, it's marriage and what we're actually thinking that we're going to go into. You're getting married to somebody that is stated in front of God and everyone else, in front of the people, that they're going to help save souls, right?
Yes.
That's
But
really, I mean, this discipleship is saving souls. That's really what our goal is supposed to be, right? So you
right.
have this person that's up there that you think, as well as the world thinks, that's saving souls. So if you go and say something different, how believable are you?
Right. Well, what I would like to say is most people who are trying to save souls really can't even save themselves.
There you go. Yes.
And it's very unfortunate. And I hear the stories like so often.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of trauma in the pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I get it. I understand childhood trauma. I understand PTSD. I understand rejection. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't deal with those things,
Mm-hmm.
right, it just manifests
Right.
itself publicly eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You might not get caught in the beginning, but eventually
Mm-hmm.
light will be shed on those type of issues. I look at like Bishop Eddie Long, because when I first wrote this, one of his abusers, one of the young men that he abused
Right.
allegedly,
Mm-hmm.
um, he actually was coming on the show,
Oh, wow.
and his story was so phenomenal. But then you have Eddie, who was like really talking about homosexuality and don't be a homosexual and things like that, right? But then that's what you're doing
Right.
behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
allegedly, right?
Right.
Um, but my thing is living your truth, right? I I don't put anyone in a box.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're of any persuasion, right?
Right.
Just be that,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's always something for everyone.
Right.
So people are going to be like, okay, I'm going to that church, you know?
Right. Right.
And I
Right.
can respect you more if you say, hey, I am a fornicating pastor, but let me tell you, I love God. I'm trying to get this thing in check. I'm going to
Right.
therapy. I'd be
Right.
like, I'm down with you. I fornicate too. You
Right.
know? So we're going to work this thing together.
Right. Absolutely. I love it.
You
We
know,
have to.
and
Yeah.
I tell people now, if I ever go back and preach, right? One, I'm gonna preach love
Yeah.
and not damnation. But I know I'm gonna be sipping on some margaritas,
Yeah.
okay? And we gonna be a party in church, like. But I love God.
But you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you're speaking on that because there's so many times you can see a pastor out and they feel some kind of way if their pastor is drinking wine or if they're
Hmm.
drinking a margarita. They put them in a box. It's like, you shouldn't do that. But that's not what God said. That's not
Right,
what He
right,
said.
right,
He said, don't lose yourself, right?
right, right. Well, I do
You can
lose
drink.
myself sometimes. That's where my alter ego come out. Her name is Shay.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But that's what I'm saying. You have to
Yes.
be on all the time, and unfortunately, you can't be yourself. And that's not the way. You're still
Right,
human.
right,
You're a human
right,
person.
exactly. And you know, this journey, because it has been a 13-year journey,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This journey and my healing has actually allowed me to look at men and women of God and have compassion.
Yes.
And
Yes.
have compassion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Initially, I did not.
Mm-hmm.
I was very bitter. I was very angry. I was angry at God and
Mm.
I hated preachers. But to be honest, I actually have a pastor on my team,
Good.
you
Good.
know, and we talk a lot about everything,
Right.
you
Right.
know, and he knows me and I'm who I am in front of him,
Right.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, but I also know, look, nigga, I need some prayer. What you doing? You got some time today?
But living in your truth, living who you are, you're right.
Yes.
If more people did that, people are now asking, why don't people go to church as much? Why so many, especially young people? I've
Yes.
talked to several young people, and they said, you know what? I love God, I do. But as
Hmm.
far as going to the building of the church, I feel like I'm being, uh, judged,
Yes.
judgment,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. I don't go to church anymore. I don't think I've been to church in maybe like 15 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
not that long, maybe 10.
Okay. Okay.
I listen to my worship music. I
Mm-hmm.
have my thank you journal where I'm thanking God every day, at least
Yeah.
5 things that I'm thanking God for. But I feel like I am the church,
Yes.
right? And I
Uh-huh.
don't think that I have to be in the four walls of something called a church. I could be at Walmart, right?
Mhm.
And connect with someone
Right.
when we're having church, because
Absolutely.
two or three in the midst, right? There shall
That's
I
true.
be,
That's true.
right?
Mhm.
But I also look at it like me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
So, you
Yeah.
know, and I actually have this shirt that my now husband bought me. It says, when I see God, I see a black woman.
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
And literally, I wear that shirt and hat on planes in the airport or whatever. And people are like staring, like, what does she mean?
Right.
But if God and I are one, I am God, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
create, you know. I'm not the creator,
Right.
you know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I
Right.
do create.
Yeah.
Um, so I just look at things from a different perspective, even marriage now.
Right.
And I understand that some people might not agree with me, but sometimes I believe that God allows two entities
Mhm.
to come together to
Mhm.
bring a certain spirit. and human form together.
Mhm.
And then their season might be up.
Mm.
So some things are for forever, but
Mhm.
everything is not.
Mhm. We were
So
talking about the preacher's exes, and in one of the cast members speaks on domestic violence,
oh yes.
and it's riveting the way she talks about it. She's very descriptive, and I love it because it's so many people, not just in the church, but you see domestic violence daily, and
Yes.
it's excessive, and
Yes.
it's unfortunate that it is.
Yes. I totally agree. So yes, what you're seeing is actually real.
Yeah.
Right? When you
Yep.
see episode 1,
Mm-hmm.
um it wasn't scripted at all. Like
Mm.
we, the other cast members, were like freaking out, like what the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm.
But it was her having a moment to face herself in the mirror
Yeah. Yeah.
and deal with self and what has transpired in her life.
Yeah.
Um, and I was just like, wow, like I really want to tear up now. I am tearing up actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I even look at my life, the domestic violence from my first preacher husband.
Yes.
I'm healed and we have a child together. So we're very cordial. I have nothing against him.
Yes.
But if I take my mind back there,
Yes.
it was a very painful time in my life,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that I had to deal with. I cannot fault anyone
Mm-hmm.
for my actions at this point.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people are who they are,
Yeah.
right? We
Mm-hmm.
accept it or we reject it.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, we have to say, I'm going to move on. So whether that's therapy,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's just with God, whether that's through a miracle, whether that's through medication, whatever it is, we have to, right? Women and men have to deal with self and
Mm-hmm.
ask ourselves, why did I deal with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it about me that made me think at that moment it was okay? Why did I feel like I couldn't leave? And some people can't leave because they're too afraid to leave.
And it is riveting
It
because
is.
you just said that of how, and then people are on here right now. There's several women and men on here right this moment that will listen to us along the way of
Yes.
how you left. How
Yes.
did you leave?
So I was married to two preachers,
Yes.
right? So one I left, he got a good kicking ass by me and my brother, him and the mistress. So like, and I spent a few hours in jail, like praying, like, all right, God, like, can you help me? And that felt real good, right? That felt real good. My
Right.
mama asked me, she up in the mountains praying when she came home and found out. She asked me, she said, Sharon, do you feel better now? And I said, yes. She said, would you do it again? I said, yes. Cause I felt like Rocky Cam, like for real. I was like, nigga, I owed you this. I owed you this. And my brother, we tapped out. Let me tell you, when me and my brother got arrested, my brother said, nigga, I ain't paying for shit. You paying for it all. And I did. So we had to get in front of your honor, Miss Griffin. How do you plead? I said, guilty, sir. He said, I fine you $700. I
Yeah.
said, okay, I'm going to pay now. But from my 16-year marriage,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
it was a roller coaster.
Hmm.
And we're cool now, right?
Yeah.
He went through his healing and all that, and we're cool. I think he's remarried,
Yeah.
whatever. Um, but I just kept praying and I was tired.
Yeah.
And literally, I had stopped going to church, but a young lady invited me to a church that was very prophetic. So I was like,
Hmm.
I'm going to go because I'm used to being in prophetic atmospheres,
Uh-huh.
right?
Right.
And the pastor was like, you're moving to Texas. And I was like, that nigga don't know what he talking about, right? But then one day I'm speaking with my daughter and I heard the spirit of God say, move to Texas. And I'm like, what?
Hmm.
So I really started praying, and all these confirmations came along the way. Um, and I went to bed one night, TV was off. I know it was off. I woke up and Bishop T.D. Jakes was on.
Mm.
And he said, the first half of your life was hell,
Mm-hmm.
but God says it's okay to leave now because the rest of your life is going to be the best of your life.
Mm.
And I just really started talking to God. But that moment in time, I knew that God was speaking to me.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, God, I need you to confirm this.
Right.
And God just started confirming. And once I got to Texas, and what happened initially, I woke up in the middle of the night and the state of Texas was on Facebook and it said, Texas needs rain now. That was my final confirmation. I
Mm.
drove to Texas to my spiritual mom's house. And as soon as I got there, it just started pouring.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, God, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it hadn't rained, I think, here in about 5 or 6 months.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And for it to rain as soon as I got in front of her house, like I knew
Mm-hmm.
that I was in the right place at the right time and I heard God.
Right. Right. Right.
Mhm.
So many people are women and men
Yes.
don't leave because they say, we have children, right?
Hmm.
People have children. They
Yes, sir.
have finances. Many of them are not the breadwinner at the home.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
they have to think about that. How will I be? And that's one of the huge things I always hear is how can I leave because I can't take care of myself?
So, you know what's interesting? When I left, I didn't have a job. Before I left, I didn't have a job, right?
Hmm.
And I was just like, all right, God, it's me and you. Like,
Hmm.
I'm the type of person where I just trust God.
Hmm.
Like, if I hear something and it's confirmed for me, I'm like, all right, I don't know how we doing it, God,
Right.
but let's roll. But
Hmm.
what happened was when I got to, well, before I was collecting unemployment.
Hmm.
And what I was doing is just putting those checks in a safe.
Hmm.
For
Good.
me, yeah, I'm very intelligent. You know, I laugh and kiki and cuss
Yeah.
and all that, but baby, I got something up there. But
Hmm.
anyway, I just saved and saved and saved. So that was part of my cushion.
Hmm.
And then when I got to Dallas, Austin area,
Hmm.
baby, I got me a little bit of food stamps. Okay. You know, we gonna be
Uh-huh.
eating good.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and I just did what I had to do at
Hmm.
that moment.
Hmm.
Also, there was a place for studies. I don't know if you've ever heard about that,
Mm.
where you can literally go and do studies.
Really?
Mhm. In the Austin area.
Yeah.
And I did a couple studies. One, I stayed at the study facility
Hmm.
for 30 days. I got $20,000.
And people need to, I'm glad you're mentioning that now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
as we're speaking of what you can do and how God, takes
Mm-hmm.
care of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Blesses you by taking
Yes.
care of you. Because the birds don't really worry about it, right? They just get up and they know they're gonna eat.
Right, 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 right. Right. You know what I'm saying? But
But
to
people don't
me,
know about studies.
yeah, so
Studies.
I think that we as faith believers, right?
Yes.
We say that we believe God and we really trust God. I
Yes.
believe we really have to believe God and trust God no matter what.
There you go.
That's just me.
Yeah.
Right. So the studies, like I said, in this study place, baby, they fed us. They had game rooms, they had TV
Yes.
rooms, like they
Yes.
had everything. And it was a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
I literally met beautiful people there.
Right. Right.
So that was one study, got $20,000.
Mhm.
And then another study, I stayed there 2 days and got $10,000.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I was just really able to stack that money. And then I moved to Dallas, had my own place, and wrote 3 p.m., The Preacher, The Power of the Penis in Me. And that was the beginning of my healing phase.
Right. Right. As we're talking to each person right now, and
Yes.
you're telling about the preacher's exes, because so many more will reach out to you after this.
Okay. I'm excited and I'm
I
here
am
for
too.
it.
I am too, because it's a lot of people that want to tell their story, but they've been afraid. They haven't had a platform, and they also have had, they feel like they've been judged, right? They don't want
Right.
the judgment. And you actually leave a place for there's no judgment, no matter what it is.
No, 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 no. I'm a very open book. I'm very transparent.
Mhm.
And I give people the space to be who they are.
Right.
I've actually coached pastors
Mhm.
who had nowhere else to go
Right.
because they were afraid of being judged. I had a woman pastor. She
Mhm.
had beautiful clothes in her closet, but
Mhm.
she was so afraid to wear them
Right.
because the people would judge her.
Right.
She had to sneak off and have a drink
Mhm.
because the
Right.
people would judge her. I'm not going to live like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to be who I am, whether you like it or you don't. Why? Because one, God doesn't create any junk,
There
right?
you go.
And then if I'm not hurting you
Mhm.
and I'm not hurting myself, then I'm okay.
Right.
I'm okay. So people have to really get in tune with God
Yes.
as opposed to being in tune with man.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I totally
Yes.
agree. Where can they find Preacher's Exes? Starting from the
Woohoo.
beginning, where can they find it so they can stream and look at it?
Okay, well, first I have to say this. We are going to have a watch party. It's on Saturday. I think it's May 24th, not 23rd, May 24th.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm so excited about that. I'll send you the information. I would
Yeah.
love for you to come out and do a red carpet. So I'm
Oh, yes,
asking you.
because
I'm putting you on the spot, okay?
I'm there. I'm there.
uh, I'm super excited about that. And then we're in contract negotiations with several platforms.
Mhm.
One is going to be Jaro Go,
Oh gosh.
Jaro Go, which is a new Black owned platform.
Really?
That I'm super excited about. I spend a lot of time there, believe it or not,
Mhm.
because I just feel like we as a culture
Yeah.
need to support one another.
Yes.
And I want to say thank you for supporting Preachers Exes of Houston. It's a phenomenal show.
It is.
Phenomenal.
It is.
I had to go all the way to the continent,
Mm.
Africa to Nigeria,
Mhm.
for them to put the final bells and whistles. So all things Sharon K. Griffin, I can be
Yes.
followed at Preachers X's on TikTok, on Instagram,
Mm.
on Facebook. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they can see part, they can look on what, YouTube
They can look on YouTube for the trailer.
for the trailer. Now
For
you
the
have one on
trailer.
Tubi, is that right?
So and I thank God for this.
Yes.
It's no longer there.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Um, this is the fifth time that I filmed this.
Right. Okay.
So what you will see is Preacher's X's, but it doesn't come on up on a Tubi link. We did Preacher's X's of Houston, so it's now franchised.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
So
that's
to
good.
eliminate any confusion.
Okay. Okay. Sounds
Yes.
good. So Preacher's Exes of Houston.
Yes.
There you go.
Season one. It's
Season one.
coming. Season one. Season one is coming.
Season one. What would you like to leave with the viewers, ma'am?
What I would like to leave with the viewers is be yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Love yourself and love God. Anything is possible with God.
Mm-hmm.
Anything. It might take a little longer, but it's okay because the journey makes the ending sweeter than
Mm-hmm.
anything else. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I would like to leave.
We thank you so much for the opportunity, ma'am. Sharon Griffin, you have
Thank
got to
you.
look her up. You have got to keep in contact with her, because trust and believe Preacher's Exes are of Houston are going all the way. Thank you,
We
lady, for the
are.
opportunity. We love you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, Dr. Kim. Bye
Talk to
bye.
you soon.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Thank you.
Graham.